Blade 2, welcome back to my series of reviews leading up to Infinity War with all the Marvel movies I haven't reviewed yet on the channel, well the ones that I want to talk about. And let's dive into Blade 2, directed by Guillermo del Toro, which I might like this movie as much as I like the first film. I'll say this right off the bat that this is an awesome sequel. Blade 2 kicks a lot of butt. It has great action, just great character, just a great story in general. It's everything I want in the sequel to Blade. And it's really hard to figure out which one I like more, the first one or this one. And it got to the point where where I was like, you know what, I just like both equally. It's kind of like how some people like Terminator 1 and 2 equally, and how people like The Godfather Part 1 and 2 equally, and how people like Alien and Aliens equally. That's how it is for me and with the first two Blade films. I enjoy these movies both very equally, especially with the character of Blade played by Wesley Snipes, who is a total BA comic book Marvel character. I love him as his character. Wesley Snipes made this character his own, like I said in my review of the original film, so I don't really need to say all that. But this movie improves when it comes to storytelling and when it comes to like expanding the world of Blade a lot more, because they expanded a whole lot with the mythos, with the Blade universe a lot in this movie that it didn't. That's what they did in the first film. So in this film, Whistler's back. Blade brings Whistler back, who we saw die in the first film, and we get introduced to the Blood Pact, this group of vampires, I would say, and Ron Perlman is one of them. He was a total BA, and Donnie Yen is also in this movie too. Donnie Yen, I was like, whoa, Donnie Yen from Rogue One: Star Wars Story? Wow, he's in this movie, and he's a BA as well? I was like, cool. And what their goal in this movie, that they had to take down these new breed of monsters called the Reapers, where they open their mouth, they like have this thing where they just eat you alive, and just almost like the Predator in a way, where the Predator opens his mouth and he just eats you, and just straight up goriness in this movie. This is also what this movie improves on the first film when it comes to the blood and the action and just the goriness as well. This movie goes way beyond rated R. I will say that what improves upon the first film. But the first film, something about the first film really interests me more than this movie. This movie is very, very intriguing. It is, don't get me wrong. From beginning, middle to end, this movie is, it got my interest throughout the whole film. While the first film, something about it just attached me a lot more. But I don't know what it is, but it just interests me a lot more. I think what really interests me about the first movie more, it just felt a lot more simple than this film. I'm not saying that this movie doesn't have a simple plot. I'm just saying that the first movie was more straightforward and got to the point. While in this movie, it feels like Terminator 1, Terminator 2, Alien, and Aliens, where the first movie was more of a thriller film and a suspense film like the first Terminator and Alien. While this movie is straight up action, it's an action film like Terminator 2 Judgment Day and Aliens. So it kind of follows that same formula, and I kind of like when franchises do that well, when the first film is in horror, suspense, while the second film is the action and balls to the wall, mayhem, all that good stuff. It just goes all out since we know about this universe, since we know about the main protagonist and the world that this is set in. That's what I like about film franchises like this. But as soon as they get to the third film, they just drop the ball, which we're gonna get to next. The Blood Pact reminds me a lot of the crew from Aliens that Ripley joined, like Michael Biehn and Bill Paxton and everybody else. They remind me just of them because these guys are so cool, they're so likable, they have a lot of personality, just like the crew from Aliens. And this movie really is one of those movies where it's like, do I like this better than the first one? Do I like this? Do I like the first one more? It's one of those type of sequels where, like I said before, it's pretty much it's even, it's neck and neck. And this, like I said before, this movie is just, it feels like just it feels like a comic book movie at times, with the over-the-top action, the one-liners, the special effects, the CGI, which improved upon the first film, because the first film had terrible CGI. This movie definitely feels like a comic book movie other than the first film, which I like more than the first film, because this movie feels like a comic book movie, while the first one feels like a horror suspense thriller film. And that's why I got to give Blade 2 a lot of credit, especially with Guillermo del Toro, who later on directed the Hellboy films and Pacific Rim, and that overrated Oscar-winning Fish film. That, yeah, I'm not a fan of that movie, but Guillermo del Toro did a fantastic job directing Blade 2, and and this guy knows how to direct movies. Well, unlike that fish movie that I'm not going to talk about. And just like the first film, this movie isn't perfect. I do kind of have a few issues with this movie, not as much as I did with the first film. My main issue with this movie is that I wish we would get to see more of the Blood Pack, because I really liked them a lot in this film. And I did like the fact that at the end of the movie, the twist is that Ron Perlman's character and Norman Reedus' characters are the bad guys. They're working with the bad guys. I'm like, oh, come on. I was just starting to like these guys. And that's exactly what Whistler said when Blade blew up Norman Reedus' character. Who was like, I was just starting to like him. I was like, you know what, Whistler? Me too. But oh well. But after that, we get to see the awesome fight scene between Blade and Ron Perlman's character, where afterwards he just splits him in half. I'm like, yeah, Blade is a BA. And at the end of the movie where he fights the final Reaper, and I was like, yeah, Blade, kick his A. And he did. Blade 2 is a lot of fun, guys. And towards the end of the movie, and earlier in the film, where in the opening scene, he's fighting a group of these vampires, and you see the chubby one running away, and Blade goes, I'll catch you later. And that's where at the end he catches up with him in London. That's where Blade was like, oh, you didn't think I forgot about you, did you? And puts the thing right through his head, and that end of the movie, that was awesome. Blade 2, guys. This is an awesome sequel. I enjoyed this movie a lot, despite a few issues that I have. But overall, Blade 2, a kick-A sequel, a lot of fun. Enjoyed this movie a lot. I'm gonna give Blade 2 a B+. Can't decide which is better, but I know that Blade Trinity is definitely worse. So stay tuned for my rant for that movie. Let me know what you think of Blade 2 in the comment section down below. And as always, guys, if you're new to my channel, you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.